If you're always relying on someone else to
Ooh.
get you up and doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, you will fail. I'll clap and yell and say, hey, come on, you got this, let's go. If you always need that, I promise you somewhere else in your life, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing because you're waiting for somebody to applaud, or you're
Wow.
waiting for somebody to show up, or you're waiting for someone to give you permission to go get what you want.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Return on Investment MF channel. It's your host, Zack ROI Williams. And this is the information your haters don't want you to hear about. Becoming the most badass version of yourself in business. What's up, guys? It's Zack ROI Williams here again with another episode of Return on Investment MF channel. Now, today I'm bringing you a badass guest, one that I'm super excited to bring to you, one that I actually got the honor and opportunity to watch speak from stage on one of Ryan's at one of Ryan's events. Had a lot of impact on me. He talked a lot about something that is typically pretty hard pill for me to swallow. He talked a lot about thinking about death, but not necessarily in a morbid way, but using that as fuel to really engage yourself in your day-to-day life and making sure that you're giving it your all. But without further ado, a really great mentor of mine, Marc Zalmanoff. He is the fitness ninja. Many of you know he is part of the Goon Squad. He is one of Ryan Stewman's right-hand men, and he is just really an incredible husband, an incredible man, author, speaker, you name it. This dude has done it. And apparently I've heard he kicks everyone's ass in the gym. So without other ado, Marc, my man, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, brother.
Well, first of all, so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for that intro. I'm gonna have to start toting you around with me, and you can just we'll do that same thing, but we'll put some pyro, maybe like a smoke machine or something. We fucking lit, man.
Hell yeah.
No, it's great. I absolutely love being alive, and you're right. I talk about death. I'm probably the happiest guy you'll ever hear that talks about death as much as I do. But it truly is my motivation to live a good life, because we all know none of us are getting out of this thing. I mean, as far as we know anyway, we know what the end has in store for us. And when you really put things in perspective, we should be able to utilize that to go do all the things in life that we want to do. I remember I saw your post, I don't know, probably 6-8 weeks ago now, of this humongous yacht. Like, that thing wasn't a boat, it was a yacht. And you're like, I'm going to get this yacht next year, mark it down. And stuff like that, that excites the shit out of me, because that tells me that not only are you driven, not only do you have passion in what you do, but you are willing to go out and go after something like that most people, oh, it'd be nice. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? Oh man, how about this? Man, I wish I had some friends that had a boat like that. Well, what? Go get it then. Why do you need a friend to go get it? You go get it, and you can be on it whatever the hell you want.
Damn right.
So I love it. A little background on me. I've been coaching for 20 years, which is crazy to say that out loud. I've been a health and fitness coach that whole time. I started doing business coaching about 3-4 years ago. I have a company that we provide business coaching specifically for fitness professionals to help them grow and scale their business, which there's been a huge need over the last couple of years with the scamdemic. And, all these coaches didn't really know what to do. And I was already doing it. So let me show you. I'll help you out a little bit. And, the honor of being an Apex and knowing Ryan Stewman for as long as I have, and being able to be an executive coach in that arena has been amazing. And, as much as we provide accountability and coaching, we get it all back tenfold too, because I get to have conversations with people from all different arenas, all different industries, all different stages of life. And I get just as much out of it as the people that I'm talking to, and probably more than they do, honestly. But it's a great existence, man. I love waking up in the morning, and my goal in life, my mission in life is to leave people better. And it really is as simple as that. And when I got clarity on that over the last few years and really honed in on my core values and what I believe in and what I stand for and how I want to show up in this world, man, life got good. My life's always been good, but it got real good.
Right. No, dude, and it's so sick hearing, I've had the honor of being able to interview you now make up 50% of the Goon Squad. And I've actually got the rest of the 50% of the Goon Squad scheduled. And it's just really cool to hear the way y'all talk. And it's how there's so many similarities and like just to y'all's core, the type of people y'all are, what y'all stand for. It's really awesome. For people that are only listening to the audio version, I've actually got all the Goon Squad's books here, including Marc's Make Good Choices. But if you even just take a half-ass attempt at looking at what some of these guys stand for, you'll see what I'm talking about in, just the types of people that they are and what Marc just said about he wants to leave people better than what they were. And something as kind of a segue to get into some of the questions that I have for Marc is Marc actually believes in that both in a mental and physical state. There's a lot of similarities that go between where I personally feel, and what we're going to really dive into is how much your personal life is reflected by your physical life and the types of actions that you take to be able to be how you do one thing is how you do all things. Right. And I'm sure that's something that gets echoed in our group of, our family of choice, AKA Apex. And we'll have a few more plugs for Apex later throughout this. But, I think that's going to lead me right into my first question, which is how much do you think that your physical fitness directly reflects your personal growth? And that could be personal or business, but what do you think your personal fitness life affects personal growth?
So you nailed it. The saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. That permeates through our group of people, and we really live by that. Now, I've said this for years. I can tell with damn near 100% certainty how somebody shows up in the world by how they show up in the gym. And there's so many facets to it. So are you consistent? Are you somebody you're showing up 4 or 5 days a week in, week out, doesn't matter what the weather is, doesn't matter what season of life you're in, doesn't matter what's coming up or what's going on or who the president is or nobody gives a shit about anything. Like, you keep showing up. That's the first part. The second part is, do you push yourself? I'm there to program design. I've been doing this for a long time, so I know what elicits the right results that people are looking for. I'm there to help people with form and technique. I'm there to somewhat encourage and motivate, but
somewhat.
But no, here's why I say that though. Like, if you're always relying on someone else to get you up and doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing, you will fail.
Oh, okay.
So I'll motivate, I'll yell, and I don't yell like not in a mean way, but I'll clap and yell and say, hey, come on, you got this, let's go, But if you always need that, I promise you somewhere else in your life, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing because you're waiting for somebody to applaud.
Wow.
Or you're waiting for somebody to show up, or you're waiting for someone to give you permission to go get what you want.
That's tough, dude. That's tough. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people.
And then the other thing is, are you, as our friend Mike Claudio says, are you touching the line? I look around the gym sometimes and I've been doing this for so long. It truly is the easiest thing I do all day is actually coaching people in the gym. It's just second nature. So I can scan a room of 10, 15 people and be like, hey, keep your head up. Hey, keep your back straight. Hey, you need more weight than that. Hey, it truly is second nature. But, the people that will look up and go, yeah, that was too light, wasn't it? And then they'll go put the dumbbell back and grab a heavier one. I know that they do that in life.
Those are winners.
Those are winners, man, because they're like, that's not enough. I can do more. I know I can do more than that. I'm capable of more than that. And when I look back over my career, like I said, man, I can point them out, because all those components, the consistency, the hard work, you don't need somebody to motivate you to show up and go do it. You just know that's what you do. Like, those are the people excelling in life. And I'll tell you a story. Suman and I were talking one day, because I'm his trainer. He comes to my gym usually 4 or 5 times a week. And he goes, I've never not worked out. He goes, since I was a teenager, since I started working out, he goes, it didn't matter whether I was in prison, working 16 hours a day. He's like, it's always been just a constant in my life. So he goes, I don't have to want to do it. And I say that all the time, ain't got to want to. He'll come in and he'll be like, oh man, my back hurts, I slept wrong or whatever. But guess what happens once he gets moving? He feels better.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But regardless of whether he feels better in that moment, he's still going to show up and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And again, those are the people. When I see that, I'm like, that's a winner right there. Whatever they're pursuing in life, it doesn't matter what the thing is that they're going after. I know they're going to get it because of the way that they show up in the gym.
Man, I love that. So that kind of give me like a little side note on this. So I did 75 hard last year, and up until 75 hard, I've never read a single book except for one in high school, just one, my entire life. Now, if you look, I've got, notebook. I've got, bookshelves filled with some books that I'm about to get to, and a lot that I've read. The reason I bring that up is because I started paying attention, right? And if every millionaire reads an average of, I forgot how many it was, books a year, if I want to be a fucking millionaire, I should probably start reading, right? Which brings me to the point. Now, obviously, there is a wide range of people that others can look up to and choose to be their mentors or their networking groups or what have you. But with the type of person I am and the level of accountability that I need, when I sit back and I look at the people that I look up to, whether it's in personal life, the way they show up in their marriage, in their relationship with their kids, how they handle business, how they handle their friends behind their backs, every motherfucker is in the gym. Every one of them. Every one of them. And I'm not saying that you have to have a six-pack to be able to be successful in any facet of your life, but even some of the people that I know and that I look up to that are theoretically overweight are crushing it in the gym because that's a goal that they set and they're going after. But also, with that being said, going back to what you said about consistency, is a lot of my mentors, let's be real, if they're going to be a mentor, a majority of the time, they've got experience in whatever it is you're looking up to them. So for this case, a majority of these people that I look up to have been in business for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years. And through that timeline, a majority of them have adopted this physical fitness attribute to their existence. So almost 80% of the people that I do look up to, in a sense of the term, are jacked. They are gun big. Like, I'm not going to fight you. I will shoot you. Right. Like, so, so what's your thoughts on that? Cause I mean, look, I am not finna get in the ring with Mike Claudio. I promise you, I'm shooting him with the 40 for sure.
You may need a horse tranquilizer for that, dude.
Right.
He said something. We were in a breakout session a couple of months ago at our executive meeting. And one of the guys in the group, he's like, I want to be a speaker. Like, I want to get on stage more. And Mike Claudio, in his oh so subtle ways, he goes, then you need to get the fucking shape. And everybody in the room was kind of like, oh. He goes, I guarantee you, if you look at the top 50 speakers in the world, Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and like the names, he goes, none of them are out of shape. And like you said, it doesn't mean you got to be some giant ass Adonis and just completely ripped, but like they all take care of their physical body. Mm-hmm. It's such a win because, and most of these guys are doing it early in the day. And that's a whole nother story. Like, do you got to get up at 4 a.m.? No, like, just utilize the time that you have. But a lot of these people are getting up, getting it done. That's the hardest physical thing we'll do all day.
Yeah.
We live in the most comfortable time of humanity.
Yeah.
So we have to manufacture the hard physical stuff. I'm not on a roof. You're not on a roof. I'm not digging ditches. Like, I don't have to go hunt my food and harvest the crop. Like, I don't do any of that. Like, I push some buttons, or maybe I drive to the grocery store and, I could pay somebody to come feed me if I wanted to. Like, it's so easy, right? So we have to manufacture that hard in order to give ourselves that edge. So these people that understand that, hey, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to do hard shit. And then the rest of the day, like whatever comes my way, I'm going to be able to manage it well, because I've already proved to myself that I won by doing something that most people won't ever do in the first place.
Right. No, 100%.
And especially the people that train with me, like we work out different than most people. You're gonna experience that soon, man. I'm gonna get you in my gym. we're gonna have a party. But yeah, I mean, there's such a huge correlation between that and success. And as you said, like I don't really know of many people that I look up to either that don't take care of their physical body, whatever that looks like for them.
Right. No, and it's funny that you say that. So like, speaking of Tony Robbins, and I mean, I just got the honor of, watching Ed Milet, and honestly, dude, like I forgot how jacked he really is. But then you look at people like Nick I'm going to say his name completely wrong. Stanton. This man has one arm, no legs. He's missing his other arm. He's got one finger, and he is a physically in shape person. And honestly, from what I've heard, will run the hills of Cabo faster than a majority of us. But no, I definitely think I appreciate you, speaking on that, because, and props to Claudio for bringing that up. And it's not that we discriminate on anyone else for where they're at in their personal life and physical health. But at the end of the day, I think that goes back and answers what the first question was about: how you do one thing is how you do all things. And that is also reflected in your physical. You got to take care of yourself, man. You've got to. So I appreciate you for saying that. So then number two, so we know that the brain is an organ, so we're not going to sit here and call it a muscle, but much like working out grows your muscles, how do you apply those same principles when it comes to reps and sets to grow your brain? Maybe neurologically, but more or less when it comes down to making good choices better and better and easier, whether it's applying physical health, that getting over that. So I did a lot of study on like consumer psychology. So like we all know that 21 days creates a habit, but 63 days actually creates a new neurological cycle or neurocycle. So in your thoughts, just like working out with sets and reps of, obviously that goes kind of back to what you mentioned about consistency, but that repetition, how do you in your coaching teach people how to utilize these same exact core principles that you teach people in the gym to apply to their personal life or their business?
Goggins talks about callousing your mind, right? One of the funniest things I ever heard, Jocko, one time, when you think mental toughness, like he comes to mind, right?
He has to.
And he was being interviewed, and the interviewer said, how do you create mental strength? And he I think the question itself, like almost befuddled him. He's like, what do you mean? Like, you just do things that require mental strength. Like, it was the worst and best answer I've ever heard for a question like that, right? Like, so think about this. This is a guy that saw like heavy combat in the depths of Africa. Like, he's seen some shit. He's like, what do you mean? You just like do things that make you use your mental strength? Well, that's great advice and terrible advice all at the same time. Part of it really does go back to, and I love the analogy of like doing the reps. Like you have to manufacture some of it. And I do think that physical component helps you to realize how capable you are. 75 hard is a great example as well. People look at that list, they're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all these things? And how am I going to drink all that water? And then people start doing, they're like, oh shit, like I've been playing so small and doubting myself tremendously of what I'm actually capable of. And that's just 75 hard just scratches the surface of what's possible, right?
Really does.
The other thing too, though, is, and obviously we talk about this a lot in our circles, is having strong core values, because the world doesn't have strong core values. our society as a whole does not have strong core values. So when you get complete clarity on the 4 or 5 things that are going to define you as a human being, and you operate with those consistently, you will be forced to grow yourself mentally. Because the world says, you know what, like, you don't need integrity. Like, if you do just most of the time, you do the thing, it's totally fine. Like, people backstab all the time, whatever, like all the excuses that the world allows to keep you average, to dumb you down, to go, those people are greedy. You don't want to be like that. Like, you don't need to be so ambitious. When's enough? Like all that bullshit that we hear, right?
Right.
I really do think, like, when you just live by a strong set of core values, by default, it will build your mental capacity, because the world's going to throw things at you and you're going to be forced to make decisions. Are you going to take the ethical route? Or are you going to take the money behind someone's back? That's going to come back and bite you in the ass. You know it. Mm-hmm. But greed takes over, right? Selfishness takes over. People get quote unquote tired, and not just physically, like people get mentally tired. The woman at the bar starts hitting on you. You're married, you got kids. She's fucking smoking hot. What are you going to do? No, knowing that maybe no one will ever know, like, what are you going to do? Yep. But when you make that decision in that moment, that's one more notch where you're like, stronger,
yep,
stronger, one more rep, got it.
I love it.
It's such a huge thing.
It's funny you brought that up. So I made a post today. So I just got done writing some entries in like 3 different books that are going to be published later this year. And I scratched everything out because, you got to buy the book to read, to get the juicy stuff. But I did let a little blurb out and that I highlighted. And I said that you cannot convince me that if you are out here cheating on your wife, that you're not going to cheat on your business partners. And a business associate of mine actually commented on that and said that he had a business partner from a few years ago. She's no longer with us, but she apparently was a very powerful woman, and they had a very lucrative business. And when they were looking to partner with strategic partners, she would have this gentleman go out with them that night to the bar if they were married, and see if they would, try and stray away from their relationship with their wives. And if they did it all, there was no second conversation. So I agree with that. And again, that guys, it honestly keeps going back to how you do one thing is how you do all things. And that's like and in fact, you still got to buy the book, but that phrase is in there, like right before that or right after that too. But no, I like that idea that, like, every time you do something, it's one more check mark, it's one more rep, you're getting a little bit stronger. Again, I keep doing these side notes on these topics, but I think these are awesome. I think it was Brad Leah had made a comment one time where, and we're going to get a little bit religious on this, but this religion doesn't have to go on Christianity or, anything other than, like, so at the end of the day, you got to believe that good is good, and whether it's karma and Mother Earth, you got to believe in something, right? So he was saying that when you deal with situations, you can go back and think back on, like, were you praying to become stronger? Were you praying or thinking or putting this aura out or wanting to level up, like what you were talking about? And now you're in this situation. You're in the situation regardless, right? But once you come out of this, you get to realize how strong you really are. And you are praying to become stronger, but how do you get stronger? You got to work out, right? You got to go through experiences that teach you that A, I can overcome this, and B, might have to break you down a little bit like a muscle before it builds you back up.
Yep.
Sure. So man, that's pretty crazy. All right. So what's the hardest thing that you see high level earners deal with when it comes to the physical fitness being a direct reflection of the results that they are producing? And I'm talking about high level as in running 12 businesses or trying to manage, depending on whenever time anyone watches this, but one of our good friends, Thomas Keenan, is having to run multiple organizations and just had to deal with taking his wife to the hospital for a major procedure yesterday. It's like life doesn't fucking stop the wealthier you get. You know what I mean? So what is it that you see how, and this could be distractions. This could be like what you were talking about, where like maybe, Ryan's back was hurting, but he gets in there, gets the fluid moving, starts getting some serotonin releases, this, that, whatever. Now he starts feeling better. Or maybe he's just mentally, he's like, dude, like I'm in a brain fog. I got writer's block, this, that, or dude, I'm stressed out. I got the weight of MDM coming down on me. I'm writing checks bigger than I've ever written in my life. Like these high level producers that you coach both in gym and out of the gym, how do you see what their direct reflection is on how they handle themselves in their businesses and in running these high level operations versus how they're directly reflecting their life in the gym and physical fitness?
So I think the struggle really comes in with perspective. And I study a lot of Stoicism. It has a very huge influence on my life. My book itself was heavily influenced by the book, The Daily Stoic. And when you read Marcus Aurelius, who by all means, at one point was probably the greatest ruler that the earth ever had. And there's not very many. That list is so short, but of all the Roman emperors, like he probably ruled over the greatest time in Roman history. So you put him right up there with, Genghis Khan and maybe one of the pharaohs, and that's about it. I mean, the list doesn't get much longer than that. Mm-hmm. And when you read his meditations, which were really just his own personal journal, if you change the verbiage to today's language, you would have no idea that was written 2,000 years ago. Mm. Man has been dealing with the same shit forever. He talks about greed and sex and money and power and fame, like all the things that the human plight, like it's like we just never learned, even though we have history we got these books and we got stories, but we never learn the lesson because we have to go through it ourselves, right? Yep. So I think for those who struggle, a large part of it is the perspective that I got time. You don't have time. The only time that actually exists is literally this very moment. There is no past or future. The only time that ever exists is the present. And when we're striving for, money, and again, there's zero wrong with that. Trust me, I like the problems I have with money compared to the problems I had when I didn't have money. I'll take them all day. But a lot of people just think, oh, I got time. Like I'll do it later. I'll get to it later. I got an empire to build. I got businesses to build. And then what I see in my own personal experience being around all these executives and multiple business owners, all of a sudden they get to this point where they're, maybe 40, 45, they're 50 pounds overweight, they're 60 pounds overweight, they're 70 pounds overweight, they're 80 pounds overweight, they're tired, they don't recover the way that they used to just on a day-to-day basis, not even talking about exercise. Like their body just doesn't respond the way it used to.
Are you telling me it gets worse from here, bro?
So they operate with this mentality of like, I'll get to it, right? And what happens is eventually it gets to them. We say it all the time, and it's, again, it sounds cliche and it sounds mundane. We're like, man, if you don't take care of yourself, like you're gonna be giving all your money to hospitals, doctors, medical bills, all that. But it's the truth. Mm-hmm. And if you're focused so heavily on building your business and building wealth and all that stuff, that's great. But if you can't enjoy it, mm-hmm. if you're waiting for some magical time where you're like, okay, now I'm going to start working on it. Yeah. but maybe it's too late. Maybe your arteries are already clogged. Maybe now you got diabetes and you can't reverse it.
Yep.
Your kids want to go play, but you're too fucking out of shape to do it.
Right.
You go on a Cabo trip and you don't want to take your shirt off.
Yep.
Right? Like all those things, and especially as a man, that stuff affects your confidence, it affects your psyche, and it starts to affect the way you show up. And you and I know there's people around us that we know that are like that. They're great human beings. It's not a judgment of character. They just haven't made it a priority to actually take care of themselves. And when I can get people, especially businessmen, if I can get them to equate, like, what if you treated your physical fitness as a business? Now, how do you show up? Because these are guys that have built, multi 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure businesses and have employees and people counting on them and all these things. It's like, okay, but what if you treated your body as a business? How would you operate now? Would you wake up every day with a plan? Would you have a business plan set? Would you go hire a coach? Would you drink a damn glass of water and eat a vegetable every now and then? Like, like you don't feed your business bullshit, but yet you're feeding yourself bullshit.
Yeah. 100%.
So, people have to take it seriously. And it's not like, look, you don't need to go to a gym. Like, yeah, my gym's great. I love people that train with me, but like, you don't need all that. Like, if you need to get moving, go walk, like literally just go walk, start somewhere. Like I said, drink some water, eat a vegetable or eat fruit every now and then. Like, it doesn't have to be this like grandiose overhaul of your life just to get moving. But if you don't do it, I promise you, not only are you going to suffer physically down the road, but the other components of your life will start to suffer as well. Like you want your spouse to be attracted to you. And again, it doesn't mean, like you said before, we all need 6-8-pack abs or whatever. That's for Dante Smiley. He can do that. He's got all the abs. He's got like 16 of them. But like, you just need to take care of yourself. And at the level that so many of us perform, it's even more important. And you and I know people that are way busier than us that do it.
Yeah, 100%. Fuck your excuses, right?
So the time thing is bullshit. I remember a story reading about Vince McMahon, the owner of WWE. That dude works like 18 to 20 hour days and has for like decades. And he works out. There's an hour of his day where he goes and works out. Like, that's why he stayed in shape. I mean, forget about roids or any of that other. That dude's been in shape for a really, really long time. He could still throw himself around in the ring if he needs to,
Right.
But like, if that dude can do it, we can do it too. It just has to be a priority.
Yeah. No, you're 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to like, how bad do you really want it? And I like what you brought up about the confidence. So like, I talk pretty direct, with my crowd. And so, like if you're sitting here right now and you're kind of feeling like a tinge of guilt, or like you're thinking that like maybe now is like, you heard it enough that like now's the time to like make that decision to get in the gym and get physical, like fucking do it. Like now is the fucking time. This is your fucking sign, don't fucking wait until Monday. Don't wait until next quarter. Don't wait until the first of the month. Don't wait until January fucking 1st. Like now is the time, because now all you're doing is just giving yourself an out. And guaranteed, like what Mark was talking about these people that keep putting it off. Let me focus on my wealth or my empire or my companies or my organizations. Put them all on their fucking deathbed because of a situation that they ignored, and they would trade all that fucking money to have it all back again and be back where they hadn't had their health without the money. Guaranteed.
Steve Jobs talked about it on his deathbed.
Yep.
I mean, there's some state, you can go find it somewhere. There's some statement about like he wished he would have taken better care of himself.
All the money in the world.
And would have it prevented him dying when he did? I don't know. You can question God's plan about when it's your time, but like, here's what I think is most of us are going to live a really long time because of modern technology. But what's your existence going to look like? Are you going to be alive, or are you going to be existing?
Damn.
I interviewed a guy on my podcast probably a couple months ago now, who he's working on like legit cures for Parkinson's. And I asked him, I said, how long can people actually live? And he said, the medical community is working on things right now that he firmly believes people will begin to live like to 150 years old.
Oh, wow.
And not just existing, but like true, still taking care of themselves and moving around and doing all the things. And I'm like, man, I know a lot of people right now that I don't think they want to live that long.
Right.
Because they're like, fucking, my knees hurt already and I'm only 42. Like,
right.
Now what happens? But so you start putting that in perspective of like, okay, well, what does that mean for humanity as a whole? And what does that mean for us? And what can we do to facilitate that? Like, I love being alive. This is the greatest thing, it's all I know, but it's really
right.
For me, like, my existence is awesome. Like, my days are full of joy. I surround myself with people I love that love me. I get to do awesome things with awesome people, have great conversations like I'm having with you. Like, this is fantastic. I could do this for, I'm 42 years old. Like, I could do this for another 100 years.
Hell yeah.
It's fantastic.
Right.
But there's a lot of people out there that they wouldn't want to be alive that long.
No, for sure.
Their body's already given up on them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you guys too, I'm not going to get into the whole story. A majority of the listeners know this, but like, this shit isn't always easy at first. You're talking about someone who, I went through the motorcycle wreck. I was told I was never going to walk again. I went through $1.2 million medical bills. My pelvis is still shattered. I still have metal in my knees, like still have a broken wrist, and I still go to the fucking gym because what's worse than pushing past that pain for the first, I don't know. Let me be 100% transparent. It probably fucking sucked for me for about 6 months. It probably did. It probably lasted about that long. But what's the fucking alternative, dog?
Right.
Me not fucking walking. Where's my joy of life? Where's my quality of life? Like, how do you think I would be mentally? How bad do you really fucking want it is what this comes down to. God, make fucking good choices. That's not the title of the book. There's not the F word in there, but make good choices. But, well, man, yeah. So, I guess let's take I'll just kind of segue that into, just a shameless plug real fast, man. Our relationship right here has been built on a group that we care a whole lot about called Apex. And so if anyone listening is not in tune with it, for me, I've only been in this for a few months, and this is actually a funny story because this just happened like an hour ago. But I went on a trip with Ryan and about 20 other people to Cabo, spent about $15,000 to it is a 3-day trip, but let's be real, it's really about 2 days because it's a half day of travel, a half day of networking, a full day of networking and education, and then a half day of networking with a half day of travel. And that was $15,000. That was a big pill to swallow for, yeah, it's cool to fly on a private jet and stay in a mansion. But at the end of the day, like, we're all business owners. Like, how am I going to get my money out of it? That trip alone, that was about 2 months ago or about a month ago. And I made a relationship there. I've made several relationships there. But this one relationship that just paid me out in the last 7 days has paid me double what I spent to go on that trip, just off one relationship alone. And that's what it's all about, surrounding yourself with like-minded people who care about growing themselves and understand that it takes a fucking village to be legitimately successful. And it's not a one-man show. That's what a very small portion of like what Apex is to me. Marc, since you are part of the Goon Squad, you are an executive coach. If you could just give us like maybe 30, 60 seconds of what Apex is to you. And then I want to jump right on into telling everyone about your book, brother.
Yeah. So, for me, Apex is single-handedly the best business investment I've ever made in my life, and probably the best life investment I've ever made. I've found some of my best friends in the world. I've grown my business to new heights and it continues to excel. I've formed other businesses because of the people that I've met in this group. But most importantly, it's being surrounded by people who all want more out of life, and not in a greedy way, but like in an impactful way. The Goon Squad, we're here to impact the world. And we understand that by doing that, we will be monetarily rewarded. But it's not the money we're chasing. It's the impact. It's knowing that we can positively influence people. And there's nothing like it. We get people from other groups and other masterminds that, those masterminds are great, but I've consistently heard over the past, really now 6-8 months, of people coming in from other organizations that they're still a part of, again, ran by great people, but they're like, whoa, this is different. And almost to a point of disbelief, of going like, are you people fucking serious? Like, are y'all for real? Like, everybody's hugging and going out to eat with each other and doing things, and nobody's like stabbing each other in the back, or not, like, it's for real. And it's people that we get to do life with. And it just so happens that a lot of us are pretty good at business too. And so, it makes for a good existence,
It's fun. I haven't had any bad interactions yet, and don't plan on it. So yeah, go ahead and talk to us about making good choices. Cause I actually, I heard Ryan on a podcast recently. I think it was his podcast. It might've been Rewire, or it might've been Motivational Monday, but anyways, he was talking about how, that's a phrase that you say to him every time he leaves the gym, and how it's more than just like your mama telling you to make good choices, that it literally is like, at the end of the day, we all have especially us. My poor wife, I feel so bad about this. Like, I genuinely feel guilt. She gets so angry with me because I will not make a decision on what to eat for dinner, but it's because I make so many choices during the day. Like, my mind is just so mush that I have all these decisions to make. And I think the point that Ryan had made was, you do get decision fatigue, where you have to remind yourself that you still have to make good decisions even later in the day. Like, this shit is impactful. This shit can change your life. It can change your family's life, your employees' life, your contractors' life, your friends' lives. Like, so you still have to make good choices. So, shameless plug, we'll drop the link to the book in the show notes. So go and grab that. You will not be disappointed. Super glad I picked that up. But anyways, go ahead, give us a shameless plug here. What you got going on here?
Yeah, the quality of our lives is in direct proportion to the choices that we make. And the more good choices we can make, the better our lives get. And this started as kind of a joke in the gym, of like just being funny. When people were leaving, I'd yell out, "Make good choices." They kind of laugh, and they still like half of them still laugh. But over time, it permeates into your head. And what you just said, you get to the end of the day and you're tired, but you're like, man, I have all these goals I'm chasing. Like, do I really need that whole bowl of ice cream? Maybe I could just have just a little bit of it. I don't need the whole thing. Do I need that whole cheeseburger? I could probably just eat half of it. Like, that would be a better choice than eating the whole thing, and I'm totally satisfied, right? Do I need to follow up? Do I need to call the damn leads?
Do
I need to call the damn leads? Yeah, that's a good choice, because they reached out to me and they have a problem that needs to be solved, and I would like to be the one to help them solve that problem. So the basis of that really is in all aspects of life, not just fitness and nutrition, but everything you do, like, make good choices. And the book is it's a year-long journey. There's 52 entries in there. So it's meant to be read once a week. So you actually absorb it instead of just blowing through it and forgetting half of it.
Yep.
And there's a journal prompt with every single one of them. So, my intention was really to create something that people would read and absorb and sit with and go, okay, what does this mean to me in my life? Because what it means to me isn't going to be the same to you, Zach, or to Thomas or Drewby or anyone else. Like, it's very personal. But so much of it in there is mantras and things that I've lived by that I know have made my existence better. And when people start to understand that and then implement it in their lives, not only do they get to change their life, but they get to change the lives of the people around them as well. When you start to change in a positive manner, people see it. And either one of two things happen. They come closer to you, or you push them further away. But either way, that's a good thing.
Some people need to understand that repelling the wrong people is equally, if not more, beneficial than attracting the right ones.
Yeah. 100%. So, I enjoyed writing that book. It's been a little over a year now since it first came out, and it's still weird. It's surreal. When people send you a screenshot, I'm like, oh man, I just read this and I was really moved by this or that. I'm like, oh wow, like, I did write that, and that is still kind of weird. But but again, that's the point. Like, I want to positively impact people. I want to leave people better, and that's something that no one can ever take away from you. Like, you write that book, and it's there forever.
Yeah.
It's part of your legacy. And regardless of whether you'll be forgotten in 50, 60 years, whatever, that's totally fine. But to have something like that just lives on, and you know, I got kids, so like my kids can pass it on as well and be like, oh, you know, great grandpa Mark wrote this book. You know, can you believe he said this stupid shit? Like,
I love it.
but it's been such a great journey to have that as a tool, and you know, something to give to people. It's opened doors for me. It's got me on stages, and I'm not done with it yet. So
I love it.
There's still more to come.
Oh, dude, I love it. Well, man, I appreciate your time. Go ahead. Let us know how to connect with you, where you'd like us to plug you in, where we can check out more about what you got going on. Shameless plug here, and you know, we'll wrap this up.
So if you go to thefitnessninja.phonesites.com, that literally has, I can't even tell you how many links are. It's ridiculous.
All your stuff.
It's got the links to merchandise and books, and you want to get on a call with me to talk health and fitness. You want to come into the gym. You want to listen to one of my 2 podcasts. Like, it's all on there. That's the easiest way for somebody to get a hold of me.
Perfect. Well, we'll send everyone there. It'll be in the show notes and all the descriptions for everything. So y'all go check him out. Add him. You're not going to be disappointed. But man, I appreciate your time. You're a fucking rock star. You make all the dudes that I look up to as badasses cry every day. I see them bitch about it. So you must be doing something right? But dude, for real, I appreciate you being on, Mark. And I hope all the listeners really got a lot out of this.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, that was the Return on Investment MF channel. We appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching that video. If you got anything out of that, check out these dope videos over here. They're going to be extremely similar, and let's try and help get you to that next level.